Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Guys, I know I deleted a video that had a lot of likes that was doing really, really well, but it had great comments. And, you know, anytime you guys take the time to do anything, I so appreciate it. And then I turn around and I friggin' delete it. It was by accident. I don't delete things. How ironic, right? I honestly don't delete things. There's no excuse. I was using my iPad and I'm just getting used to the iPad. And I, I put the video back up. But for those people that had comments, I apologize. I honestly apologize. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I've gotten people that have thanked me for throwing them over to Alonzo's blog. Guys, this guy says that he was in Scientology for 16 years, was in the anti-Scientology cult per se for 15 years, and now has been reporting on it for 8 years. I think he's got some I think he's got a lot of truths. Do they come from his perspective? Yeah, I would assume that they would. But here's a guy that was in Scientology, and I just think that could be a good resource. And there's a ridiculousness, I have to tell you, when people say to me, hey, well, just, be careful. Why? Well, he attacks people that gets close to him. Okay, I don't know where Alonzo's blog lives, and I don't know what that means. I was not agreeing with him or not disagreeing with him. I have to say that I think he shows a lot of evidence that I would agree with. But that's what's online. I mean, so either I'm going to agree or I'm going to disagree, or I'm not going to have an opinion. If I didn't have an opinion, I wouldn't have a video on it. And that leads me to another thing. So people get upset, I guess, because I don't share their same opinion, like about Mike Rinder. Why do you believe, somebody said, how could you believe what Mirriam says? Well, listen, I have a choice. I could believe what Mirriam says, I could believe what Mike hasn't said, or I could not have an opinion. If I did not have an opinion, what's the point of Toddy One Skip? And better yet, Issues with Toddy One Skip, if I didn't have an opinion. And so that leaves two things. Either I'm going to agree with what Mirriam says and says, wow, and I'm going to say I was slack-jawed because Mirriam, I believe her. I believe Serge. I believe that these people were deeply affected by the actions of Mike Rinder. You can't, people have said, prove his timeline. And if you watch, you'll see that he himself has said that he was put on missions and was cleaned up to go and travel across the world to make interviews and such. So I'm not going to sit and give you the whole timeline, but when I tell you, well, this is why, you can listen. I live in this world, and I live in a big world. So if I lived in a smaller world, I would think that the gossip would even be more. I don't think for a minute that human nature that you have control over, especially when you don't have control in a bigger culture, that you're not going to gossip behind the scenes, like you're not going to hear tricklings of things. I do think that Mike Rinder's hands are dirty when it comes to Mirriam. She speculates things, but she shows other things. But what do you want from her? Should she not fight for some sort of closure and know that she stood up for herself and that she did right by her? I think so. Because at the end of the day, she's got to go to bed and know that she did everything in her power to make her world right. And if Mike Rinder put his hands in her world and fucked up shit for her, Mike Rinder's got to be accountable for that. When do people decide, oh, that's enough, the world is changed, and that person, that no longer is a crime? Bad behavior is going to be bad behavior regardless. So if somebody took part in devastating a family and helping somebody perpetuate CSA, and then for the greater good, you know what the problem with the greater good is? Did I tell you this? It's a bunch of individuals that are paying the price, and it's hardly ever the people at the top of the echelon. Do you remember how close Mike Rinder was with Marty until Marty went back into Scientology, we think? And all of a sudden, Marty's not a horrible person, and you can't believe Marty anymore. What happened before? You believed him before. What I'm saying is we have to use our heads and think. Like, I'm going to a lot of places and looking up research. In the situation with what Mirriam says, without Mike saying a word, I believe Mirriam. That's just the way it is. I'm talking about a specific thing. And that is that he knew what was going on with her, and he helped hide the crime. That's what I'm talking about. And all I'm talking about is from Mirriam, what Mirriam brought from the rabbit interview. Now, did Mike probably know more stuff? I think we're going to find stuff out, because once a facade cracks and you see the littlest bit of something different, it changes the whole picture. You have to allow yourself that. Please don't put nobody on a pedestal so high that it's impossible that they fall off. Nobody should be put up there. Put yourself up there. Put yourself up there. But don't sneer down on people. If you think you come from a righteous place, bring people up. Don't pull them down. So, guys, I apologize about the video that I deleted. Again, the video's back up. It's the comments that are lost. The views have been viewed. So, again, I apologize for that. Guys, please, don't be afraid to change your mind. And some people would say, Toddy, won't skip you either. I started off as a great fan of Aaron's and Mike Rinder's. So I have changed my mind, unfortunately. Guys, please partake in the comments. I promise I'll be more careful with them. Like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again for letting me be part of your day. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday, but not half as good as you're going to be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.